Bonsoir Europe, and welcome to our final edition of Destination Paris, where we review the entries of this year's Junior Eurovision Song Contest. So we'll quickly go around the room and say hello. Sarah.
Hello everyone.
And there's John Staggy.
Hi folks.
Bogdan.
Hi everyone.
James.
Hi everyone.
And there's me, Richard. Hello everyone. So tonight's reviews are all based on official music videos. So we haven't seen live performances of any of these songs yet. So we're going to start with Georgia. They've come first 3 times. That's a record 3 times in 2008, 2011 and 2016 in the contests held in Limassol, Yerevan and Valletta respectively. And talking about Georgia tonight is Sarah.
Right, Georgia. Just for an interesting statistic before I start to discuss this song, the writer actually wrote the last 3 Georgian winners. So are Georgia onto a 4th win maybe, who knows? Right, so I've had a look at this, and as Richard said, we haven't actually seen live performances of these songs, so we've just seen the official video. And I have to say, to start with, the title. So the singer is Nico. I can't pronounce. I've had to try and pronounce this. Sorry if but I can't speak Georgian. It's Kazakhstan. So the song title is "Let's Count the Smiles." Now, to start off, I think the title is very Junior Eurovision. It's a very positive title, and it's about and obviously smiles. We associate children with smiles. So it's very significant for Junior Eurovision. The song itself is sung by a very enthusiastic guy called Nico, as I say. And I think this comes across as being a mixture of a bit of pop, a bit of disco. It's quite sort of radio friendly. He sells it quite well and to say that this is just in the actual official video, he does do a good job of it. The only thing I would say is I do question whether perhaps it might be a little too grown up for Junior Eurovision. I'm not sure how this is going to come across with a junior audience. I think he'd do fantastic in big ESC later years, but we're now in Junior Eurovision, so I'd like to see him do well, because generally Georgia have always done well at this contest, and I see no reason why they shouldn't this year. Whether they'll do top 5, I think definitely top 10. I'm not so sure about top 5. Might just be hanging around there. But yeah, an impressive performance, and I hope they do well.
Right, so next up we've got Ireland. Their best performance so far was 10th place in 2016 when the contest took place in Valletta. And John is going to guide us through Ireland.
Hi folks, right, this is called Swear, I believe. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong. It means disappear. And it's a former Mayu Levi Lawler, who himself has got a bit of a history. There was the Irish Late Late Show, the Toy Christmas special. He performed at that when he was 10 years old. And he got a bit of a star quality about him then, so it's not a total surprise that he's made it, to this. And who knows, maybe Big ESC isn't too far away for him. The song's got like a large cast writing it, but among them is Anna Kearney, who's represented Ireland in the past herself. Now, what do I think of it? I actually quite like it. It got that little thing where I was listening to it and involuntarily my foot started tapping, and that's not a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. It's nicely upbeat. I'm afraid my Irish isn't good enough to know exactly what it's about, but I guess it's just about either teenage problems or just life being a teenager. Again, I could be totally wrong. It has, as regards Big ESC is concerned, it's sort of got that or an anonymous vibe about it, which again I quite like. But there's something about it doing well. There's a bit of bilinguality in it as well. All in all, I think this could become Ireland's best ever performance. I mean, I'm not saying it's up against really tough competition, and I think a win might be a place too far for it, but I'd love to see it certainly top 5. It's in my top 5. I'd love to see it do well. So my Levi Lawler. Good luck to you.
Yeah, as John said, the bilingual factor, it's only their second song to feature English in 7 entries. So let's see how that goes. So moving on to Azerbaijan, their best position was 7th in 2013 when the contest took part in Kiev. Bogdan, tell us about Azerbaijan.
With pleasure, Richard. So Azerbaijan is serving us this year a beautiful heartfelt ballad. It's sung by Sona Arizova and it's entitled, his name is One of Those Days. Well, it's about a song about picking yourself up after a rough time. And let's be honest, even though we might not think of it as adults, children have a tough time as well sometimes. And it's about that. It's how you can overcome a hard day or a hard time. I absolutely love the mix of English and Azerbaijani, how she sings about it. And she has a beautiful, powerful voice. The song builds up gradually. And as it builds up, it kind of lifts you up as well at the same time. It has like a magical feeling. I must admit, I'm not a fan of the video. Video is just a bit bland, black and white. But I'm just hoping that on the stage it will look absolutely beautiful. I love the song, and I think Azerbaijan will have a good result with this one if they can put off live. But from my part, it's thumbs up.
Right, moving on to Armenia, who best position previously is 1st place back in 2010 when the contest was held in Minsk. And I'm going to talk about it. So we've got Milena, who's singing, I hope I pronounce this right, it's Kami Kami. And Milena has actually been given a second chance. She was due to participate for Armenia last year, but obviously with the political situation, Armenia withdrew from 2020 Junior Eurovision Song Contest quite late on. So like many 2020 Eurovision Song Contest acts who couldn't participate in Rotterdam last year, she has also been given a second chance this year. It's quite a mid-tempo, up-tempo floor filler, and like other songs this year, I feel like it's a song that could fit into the adult Eurovision Song Contest as well. She's, vocally it's brilliant, but she does a lot of expression through her armography. So if she's trying to promote emotion, she's doing it through her arms as well as her voice. I just get the feeling with the dancers and the backing dancers in the official video, it's sort of giving us a hint of what we might see on the 19th of December. But only time will tell, but I do think it'll make top 5, maybe top 3. I don't want to say winner because I don't want to jinx it, but it will be up there. Finally, last review of the year is Kazakhstan. Their best position was 2nd in 2019 and 2020 when the contest was held in Gliwice and Warsaw. And James is going to talk to us about Kazakhstan.
Right, so Kazakhstan. Admittedly, when I looked at the rotor and saw that I was the one reviewing Kazakhstan, I was like, this is Richard subtly reminding me that I promised to teach everyone Kazakh at some point. So I haven't forgotten, Richard. It's still in the plans. Yeah, so Kazakhstan this year are sending Etegi Elemi, I hope I've said that right, and it's being sung by Alinor and Beknor. Now, Alinor is a very safe pair of hands. I noticed at the moment, I saw him singing, he's a very confident young performer. He's been at Slaviansky Bazaar, he was a finalist on The Voice Kids. So the moment I saw him sing, the way he holds himself, very confident performer, he belts out those lyrics. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is Kazakhstan doing what Kazakhstan do at Junior Eurovision. They send a big number, big voice from a very small person, and it all works. That's fantastic. The one thing that I find slightly unusual about this song, and this is what makes me slightly unsure of its chances, is that I find it's very difficult to sing along to. Now, I know that might sound like a weird thing, but I think for any Eurovision song, and for Junior especially, a little bit of a sing-along quality helps because it helps you remember it. Now, Etegi Elemi means fairyland, which I thought was an interesting title for a song. And there is sort of a bit of chanting in there, na 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 na. It sort of sounds like fairy chanting. I thought, well, okay, that's memorable. That might help, if you can't sing along. because of course the song is in a mixture of Kazakh and French, which I just find absolutely brilliant. You know, as a combination of languages, they're not two you'd immediately think of as having a lot to do with each other. Usually when I see a rap verse in any kind of Eurovision or Junior Eurovision entry, I'm sort of, oh dear, you know, this doesn't always feel like a good idea. But I must say, for this song, I think Bekno has such a likable quality, rapping in French, which I think, you know, it never hurts to cozy up to the host nation. So it works. You know, on paper, I sort of saw it and was like, oh, I don't know about this. But hearing it, you think, no, okay, that works, that's fine, no problem. And the other thing I really love is that both the boys seem to be genuinely fond of each other. There's a segment in the music video where they're standing next to each other, and the way they look at each other and they're smiling and really excited to be there, I'm like, they genuinely like each other, which I think is a rarity in show business, but you know, that's really lovely to see. What do I think it's going to do on stage in Warsaw and on the scoreboard? Well, as we said, Kazakhstan have come runner-up 2 years running now. I suspect this will definitely get them into the top 5. As I said, the fact that it's a bit difficult to sing along to, I'm sort of wondering if that's going to hamper it. We'll maybe see them in 3rd or 4th. But I think it's a very solid entry. As I said, it's Kazakhstan doing what they know how to do at this contest, doing it very, very well. And yeah, come on, EBU, just get them into Big JESC. You know, come on, that's all the fans have been asking for what, 10 years now, if not more. We've seen what they can do in Turkvision, and we know that if that goes onto the Eurovision stage, then we'll probably be in Kazakhstan very, very soon. So let's see how that goes.
And that was our final review of this year's entries of the Junior Eurovision Song Contest. But before we reveal our top 5 thoughts, and we will deliver them A to Z, I have a question for the whole team. So considering the contest has mainly been Eastern European participating countries, with the exception of Dutch and Maltese being there most years, Dutch being there every year, do we finally feel there's a Western European resurgence in participation, bearing in mind France and Spain have returned in recent years and Germany have debuted? Also, Iceland is showing it for the first time this year, and they're actually sending a delegation to look at the behind the scenes, so maybe they'll be joining next year. Do we finally feel like Western Europe are partaking again? Let's start off with Sarah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because as you say, we've had years where it's been pretty much Eastern European dominated, mainly because obviously there've been very few Western countries chosen to participate. There does seem to be a general interest in the contest growing, and I do wonder whether a little bit of that has come because of the pandemic, because there was no big ESC last year. So because we actually had a contest last year with Junior Eurovision, that kind of put more of a spotlight on the junior contest. So maybe, you never know, that's probably got the Western countries thinking, well, you know, this doesn't look too bad, actually. You know, it wouldn't do any harm for, you know, if we participated as well. And I think the fact that big guns like France and Spain have come back, and Germany are now joining in too, I don't think it will be long before we'll see some of the other Western countries either coming back in or joining completely from scratch.
John, what do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because contests like this for children have always been bigger the further east in Europe you go, and that's been a thing for years. So it's in the psyche of your Russians, you know, your Armenians, your Ukrainians, and so on to do this sort of thing. I think it's starting to catch on in you know, the Western bit, because we've got 4 of the Big JESC Big 5 taking part this year, so that immediately gives it some credibility. So you've got the Netherlands, surprisingly, is the only country that's taken part in every Junior Eurovision. You would have thought it would have been somewhere like Ukraine, say. It can only be a good thing. I mean, you know, Ireland are taking part, Portugal are taking part. We've had Wales in the past, and it's more through logistical reasons that we're not seeing Wales this year, I believe. So they're up for it, and again, they've got the Junior Eisteddfod, you know, mentality to go through with the school. It comes through the school system, so it is becoming a bit more balanced. And of course, with your French win last year, it goes to show anyone can win. And that's how it should be.
Bogdan, what do you think?
Well, I must agree with opinions that we've heard so far. It's becoming a more balanced show, and I absolutely love it. I think all the countries in Europe should participate and have a really big contest, because let's face it, we, as Europe, we have so many talented children, and it will be a shame not to see the talent from each country. And especially if they could send something singing in their native language, that would be absolutely brilliant. To hear all the languages of Europe and maybe even beyond Europe would be absolutely amazing. And yeah, I really enjoy having a more balanced competition, and I wish all the contests best of luck.
James, what do you think?
Oh, I can only echo what everyone else has said. I think for a long time it has been more East European leaning, and I think, as John said, that's because there is sort of this culture of, you know, young contests out there, contests for children. I think part of its growing popularity in Western Europe is, as Sarah mentioned, you know, after the pandemic, you know, people, you know, we had a Junior Eurovision where we didn't have a big Eurovision that year, so, you know, maybe that boosted its profile. But I think also I've noticed that the last few Eurovisions, they actually make more of a sort of point of talking about Junior Eurovision, you know, and this is last year's winner. You know, it's almost reminding people that the event takes place. And I think in certain countries, like, you know, the Netherlands have been there for a while, Armenia were there very frequently, Belarus before they dropped out. You know, this contest was there, so I think it's now putting the idea out that, oh, actually there is this contest as well. Having most of the big five there, I know they said in Rotterdam they were very keen to get the UK involved. So, you know, I think they are boosting that, and yeah, it would be nice to see more countries taking part. And I think where we've got the majority of Eastern Europe taking part now, I think the sort of the more newer countries coming into it will probably be from Western Europe. And yeah, I mean, you know what I'm like with languages. I'd love to see everyone singing in their native language. So where this is a contest where that's still part of the rules, I think that can only be a good thing. And I mean, I know people would, you know, argue with me for days about introducing a language rule back at Eurovision, but we won't get into that now. But yeah, I think it can only do the brand, it can only do the contest good. And yeah, as Bogdan said, we've got a lot of very talented, you know, young people across Europe, and this is a wonderful stage for them to take advantage of.
And for me, it's nice to see a Western resurgence, because when I first attended back in 2014, 4 of the 16 countries were Western Europe. So it was Italy who were making their debut and won, Sweden who was their final year, the Netherlands, obviously, and Malta, and the other 12 countries were Eastern Europe. So it's nice that it's gradually balancing out, and it's interesting that Iceland are showing a real interest. So maybe the other Scandinavian countries might pick up on it, because after all, the contest was based on Melody Grand Prix Nordic that was introduced in Denmark, Norway, and Sweden back in 2000. So who knows? Let's see what happens. But onto the main bit for tonight, who do we think are going to finish in the top 5? Let's just announce this in alphabetical order, not to upset anybody. So, Sarah, who do you think is going to be in top 5?
Right, so my top 5 are in alphabetical order: France, Italy, Kazakhstan, North Macedonia, and Ukraine.
Okay. John, what do you think?
Okay. I like this or not. Armenia, Ireland, Italy, Poland, and Spain.
Bogdan?
It's been really hard for me to choose because I have 7 favorites and I had to. So, oh, it's tough. But here are my top 5. In alphabetical order: Albania, Azerbaijan, Italy, North Macedonia, and Poland.
Yep. James, what do you think?
I had a similar problem to Bogdan. I sort of listened to all the songs and then sort of like, right, these are my favourites. I'm like, yeah, we've got 5 spots and there were like 11 songs here. So I had to make some tough choices, but my top 5 in alphabetical order are Albania, Italy, North Macedonia, Poland, and Spain.
Right, so my top 5, they are Armenia, France, North Macedonia, Spain, and Ukraine.
Item
So
X.
has John totted up some results there?
I have.
Excellent.
Right, on 4 votes, we have Italy and North Macedonia. On 3 votes, we have Poland and Spain. And on 2 votes, we've got Albania, Armenia, France, and Ukraine, with Ireland and Kazakhstan on 1 vote each. So it appears this group of 5's favourites are Italy and North Macedonia.
It's not bad.
That's an interesting spread, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's round it up after our last destination, Paris. It's time to say goodbye. So from Sarah,
Bye, everyone. Stay safe.
John Staggy,
Bye, folks.
Bogdan,
Bye, folks. Thank you for watching us.
James,
Bye, everyone. Take care.
and from me, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.